In the heart of Greer, South Carolina, Dooley Field sits on a neutral site, home of the Greer High Yellow Jackets. Built by its own players, this field has been a silent witness to house a sport that is a second religion to this community, bringing people together every Friday night. And one player who's carrying on a family tradition being on this field, Noah Hannon, senior offensive lineman, nominated for the Mr. Football Award, selected to the Shrine Bowl, and committed to play for the Appalachian State Mountaineers. This young man has made his mark in the Greer football family. But who is Noah Hannon, off the field and on the field? How does he do it all, from being senior class president to leading Fellowship of Christian Athletes chapter in Greer? We caught up with the three-time regional champion football player to talk about his motivations through all his success and his journey to becoming one of the best this community will always remember. When you walk onto this field and you look around, what is it you see, what is it you feel that a fan up in the stands would not understand?
I think one thing that sticks out is that we get to feel the fans in the stands, and we've got some of the best fans in the state and the best fans in high school football, and you really feel the energy from all of them while you're out here on the field. And then you also get to feel the players that have went before you and everything like that, because this is the same field that the sod was laid by players in 1989, and so we playing on the same grass that's still from that, so you get to feel that at the same time.
Almost every Greer High football game has been played here at this neutral site. Does that bother you in some way that you don't play at the high school, or what do you like about this facility that you think you get out of it that other high school teams can't get out of it?
It definitely doesn't bother me at all. I probably because I've never played somewhere else and then have to transfer over here, but it's a pretty cool bus ride experience actually over here from the school. And I think that adds to kind of like the ambiance of the game. It just gives you like you're going to some prestigious place, because this is a prestigious place. And I think one of the things is it allowed us to do a lot of things with the stadium, as far as size, as far as the beauty of the stadium, that some schools might not get to do right in their backyard due to space limitations and stuff like that. But it's definitely pretty cool because this is right in the middle of Greer, and everybody can come out and catch the game, and so I think it's pretty special that we get to play here.
1989, your father was on that team and he won the state championship. So what does that mean? You carry the torch that was passed down from your grandfather to your father, and now you being on this field, and how do you plan to keep working with it?
It's definitely pretty cool to have that tradition throughout the family. It makes it cool. You get to share it with them at home, at the Thanksgiving dinner table, stuff like that. But it would be nice to get up there and get that state championship, so he doesn't really have that over me. That'd be pretty nice. But it's a great feeling, because everybody gets to compare you to him and tell me that I'm better than him, which is nice. How
proud does it make you that your son is carrying the tradition that you did back in 1989 and all your years in high school playing on this field, and just what's something you didn't expect from him that you see him do on this field?
I tell you, it's very proud as a parent to see your child be able to excel and do the things that you are not always able to do as well as he is. He's doing a lot of the things now that I couldn't do. He's a lot more athletic than I was. He's a lot quicker than I was, and quite honestly, he's a lot smarter than I was. So it's always good to see your kids do well, whatever they're doing. Doesn't have to be football. Doesn't have to be any sport in general. It can be just life. And I've been pretty fortunate, not only with Noah, but all my kids have chosen to do things that they love to do. And you always excel when you do things you love to do.
What's something that Noah has done that you might have wished you would have done, or something he's doing that's a lot better than what your experience was in high school that you think has really helped him and helped his work ethic play out in being a real good football player and a high school student?
One of the things that's really benefited Noah is having a great coaching staff. I had a really good coaching staff as well when I played at Greer. But he specifically has had coaches that have done things with him that nowadays you have to learn different techniques. You have to do different things than when I played. When I played, you couldn't use your hands. You had to block like this. So it's totally different than when I played. So, I think we have a lot of similarities in our styles. I was a real aggressive player, and I was a player that really liked to do things that would dominate the guy in front of me. But nowadays you can do it with your hands, and that makes him a lot better player because he's able to use his hands, and I'm glad for that. But I think a lot more importantly, Noah's gotten better because he's played for so long now. As a freshman, he was a starter, and he's just gradually gotten better year after year.
So Noah, now that we're here down on the sidelines, I'd like to take a little break from being out on the field and then talk a little bit about the future you have in football. Now, you committed to App State. What did you see in the Mountaineers that you really liked compared to a lot of the other schools, particularly armed service schools, that were really interested in you?
One thing about Appalachian State and up there in Boone, North Carolina is it's definitely a family. The first time I went up there, I went with my family. We were actually on family vacation, took some time out and went and visited the Mountaineers, and got to spend some time with the guys who were up there during the summer when they really didn't even have to be up there, and they just came because I was going to be there, and got to meet the offensive line coach. He was there with his kids, and it was just cool to see that the family is a part of the program. And I really got that vibe, and I still continue to get that vibe every time that I go up there. It's really a family atmosphere. But when it came down to choosing, because I had a bunch of opportunities, which I was blessed with, when I had that experience with my family and when I got to experience that family atmosphere, it just felt like the right place for me. And every time I go up there, that's just keep reassuring myself that that's where I belong.
Going to Appalachian State, you plan to major in international business. Now, football, they get stereotyped sometimes about not being so focused on academics, and we've seen some scandals like UNC Chapel Hill, for example, where some of the classes are rigged in favor of the football players. So how do you balance your workout between being on the football field and being in the classroom? What do you like about international business being the major that you choose, and how do you define those stereotypes and striding for an education, not just trying to make it in the sport of football?
Student comes before athlete, and I think that's education is the most important part. And when it comes to as far as your football ability, getting you into college and earning you that college scholarship like I've earned, is you're getting education first and foremost. And as far as the international business comes into it, is I've been part of this virtual enterprise program at Greer High School, and I went to New York for our world championships, and I got to compete in this competition called a Global Business Challenge, where I got placed with some kids from Bulgaria, Indonesia, Brazil, Germany, a couple other places from around the world, and I got put with people who don't speak English. So we used Google Translate to come up with a presentation that we presented to some Fortune 500 company judges, and actually the inventor of Pokemon was one of our judges. And we placed very high up in our competition, and that really kind of lit a fire and a passion inside of me for international business. And I really like making money. I like the competitive side of business because I am a competitor, and that business really gives you the opportunity to be competitive and make money in the real world at the same time. And that's really where my passion for international business came from, was from that trip to New York City and getting to meet those people and get to interact with them. But definitely education is a big drive for me.
Just pausing for a moment, looking back on this journey, what have you learned from this and what have you gotten out of this, being a high school athlete and then transforming to the college level, both academically and athletically? What have you gotten out of this, and what would you change possibly that you think could have gone better, or just what would you like to have kept the same? What helped the most?
When it comes down to it, I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change any part of my high school career, whether it's athletics, whether it's academics, whether it's my faith, whether it's my family, anything. I would first and foremost like to thank everybody who's supported me through this process. For obviously my immediate family, my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister. They've really helped me out a lot through this process. And then as far as one of the things that I've learned most from my experience is the relationships. Building relationships, and just a relationship can get you a long way. Whether that's building a great relationship with your teacher, whether that's building a great relationship with the janitor in the hallway, the relationships with your coach, with your teammates, with your family. Because when you look back at the things that you're going to remember most about high school, relationships is going to be one of those things. And I've been blessed with some great relationships with some people throughout my high school career, some teammates that I still get to talk to that are out playing other places now, and I'll be able to remember those things for the rest of my life. Those are things that I'll be able to carry on throughout my college career, and I'll obviously build more relationships as it comes along. But as far as academics goes, I've taken some college courses now in high school, so I've kind of starting to get accustomed to the college lifestyle. As far as we have classes on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings, and then Monday, Wednesday, Friday I have off. So it's kind of managing that time and still trying to stay focused. I've learned a lot that you know, it's a whole lot easier when you see that teacher every day to remember the assignment, but when you only see that teacher twice a week, you know, you have to kind of balance that time. You get more use of a calendar, because then you have to keep up with assignments that you don't normally have to keep up with when the teacher's always reminding you, because obviously in college you're placed with a lot more responsibility.
You get involved in so many extracurricular activities, and you were president of the 2016 Spirit Week, and you guys raised over $20,000 for the Greer Community Ministries. So just talk about that, for instance. What does that do, and how did you get that done? Because I know that's something you guys were really big about, and you're no stranger to doing a lot of community work like that.
Being student body president, student council and student government, which I guess you could say I'm the leader of that as I was elected. You're over Spirit Week, and in the past, Spirit Week has just been about spirit. It hasn't really been about the community. It hasn't been about to raising money for charities. And a bunch of other schools in the district, like Eastside and Wade Hampton and JL Mann, and many others, they pick a charity and they dedicate their Spirit Week events to raising money for that charity to kind of better the community. Sometimes they do some bigger charities. Well, Greer Community Ministries is a faith-based organization that's located right here in Greer. They help people here in Greer. And obviously, me being somebody who has a strong passion for Greer, I love this place, and I always will love this place. I wanted to kind of bring that back. We haven't done it in over 4 years where we've really raised money for a charity. And I had a vision. I had a lot of ambition, and I think it came out in my student council meetings when I addressed some of our officers, and you know, they could really tell I was fired up about it. And I had kind of just set a goal of $20,000. I went and sat in front of the board of directors for Greer Community Ministries, and I kind of pitched the idea to them that we wanted to raise money for them, and obviously they were excited, and I was excited. I was ready to get going. But I kind of just, like, for myself, I had set like a $20,000 goal, and I think I might have mentioned it in one of the student council meetings. Well, I never really expected for us to even get close to $20,000, to be honest. And it got put in our school newspaper that our goal was $20,000. At the beginning of the week, we had a $20,000 gauge in our website. And then it became real to me that we're actually trying to raise $20,000. So we had planned a bunch of great events with the help of my wonderful senior class president, who happens to be my cousin Emma Kate, a great student council advisor, Miss Septon, and many other great people behind the scenes who have helped us out with this. We were able to make some great events for the school. We were able to do some great things out in the community, and with the help of many businesses, we were able to reach that $20,000 goal and actually go a little over it. And it just meant the world to me to be able to watch that check be presented at halftime to Cindy over at Greer Community Ministries, and just to know that that's going to go to helping people right here in the community is great. You know, it's going to help tremendously buy meals for the Meals on Wheels program. It's going to help put food in the food pantry. It's going to help clothe the clothing closet over there at Greer Community Ministries. And, you know, I'm glad that we could be a part, and we could be the trailblazing class that starts this thing. And, you know, I hope that this is the foundation where it keeps to grow and grow. You never know. Next year, their goal should be $50,000. And, you know, there's things that they learned from what we did, ways they can make more money. And obviously I'm going to come back next year, and I told Miss Septon I'd really like to help with planning next year's, and, you know, seeing it grow and grow and grow, and hopefully we can get up there with the Wade Hamptons and the Eastsides, who are raising over $100,000.
One of the biggest mentors that someone has on a team is their head coach, and Coach Young is someone who puts in so much work for you guys. So what have you gotten out of his coaching? What has he taught you that you're always going to remember going into the college level? And what's just something that you're going to really miss when you leave here on how he runs this program?
First off, Coach Young is the most phenomenal coach that I could ask for as an offensive lineman, with him being an all-ACC offensive lineman, with him that played the position at the next level. I mean, first, he works harder than anybody. He's always at the school. He's dedicated to making sure that we succeed. He cares nothing more than to see us succeed as athletes and as a team. He's a great coach. As I go to camps and stuff at the college campuses, these coaches are asking us as athletes to do things, and most of the time I've already done them because of Coach Young, and these other kids are having to learn them for the first time. So it's really been an advantage for me as an offensive lineman to have somebody like him with his knowledge so that I can know that stuff going in. It's really helped me become a better football player. It's helped me be one of the best offensive linemen in the state because I have the best technique in the state thanks to Coach. And without Coach Young, I don't know if I would be at the position where I am right now. And I just really want to say thank you to him and to his leadership. And I think I'm going to miss being with Coach Young after this year.
When you first saw Noah his freshman year, what did you see in him, and what did you think his potential would be leading up to what you've seen today?
Early on, we kind of knew Noah had some special athleticism, special athletic ability. Played a little bit of quarterback on our D team program. Definitely not a quarterback, but he's got the feet and the ability to move his body in such a way that he makes a good offensive lineman. He also has a toughness that you don't see in many kids.
You have a lot of experience playing at the ACC level for the Clemson Tigers, so how have you used that experience to bring it to Greer High School that a lot of other programs may not have?
I'll be honest with you, most of what I do is made up of a collection of stuff I've gotten from not only my college coaches, but my high school coaches as well. I was fortunate to play high school ball for a guy named Alan Sitterly, who is widely known as one of the better offensive line coaches this state's produced. And in college, I had 3 different offensive line coaches and learned something different from all 3 of them. And we still learn today. Still looking at obviously what Clemson's doing right now, what some of the programs across the country are doing with their offensive linemen right now, and just trying to apply that to our level, to a high school kid. It's obviously not going to be as in depth as what Noah's going to get next year, but it's definitely something that we feel like we take a lot of pride in it here. We take a lot of special attention to the fact that we're going to be good up front at Greer High School.
The Mr. Football Award in South Carolina, that's really unusual for an offensive lineman. How do you see yourself getting picked for that award possibly? What do you think has been them to notice you so much that they haven't noticed from a lot of other offensive linemen? And how much of a big accomplishment would that be if that came on your resume?
I never expected to be a finalist sitting here, finalist for Mr. Football. And it's a great honor to even be a finalist, to be one of the 5 top players in the state of South Carolina, because there's a lot of great players and there's a lot of players. But as far as getting the award or possibly getting the award, it would mean obviously a ton to me and to my family. But talking about the offensive lineman and the rarity of that, there's only been one offensive lineman win Mr. Football, and his name was Kyle Young. And Kyle Young is actually the brother of our head coach, Will Young. And so that's pretty cool, little connection there. But I mean, it would obviously, it would absolutely mean the world to me to be Mr. Football. But if I don't get it, there's another kid who's going to Appalachian State, DeMarco Jackson. He plays down at Broome, and it's just pretty cool. We were talking about it yesterday at the Appalachian State game, and just to be able to share that with him and just to be a part of that elite group is a great honor. And I really appreciate my coach pushing for me to get this award. And as far as why I think they picked me for this, I think it's my style of play, because that whistle, he doesn't just blow it and it stops. He blows it for an extended period of time, and until that whistle stops blowing, I'm gonna keep going. So I think that's my style of play, and I think that coaches have noticed that from around the state. I think the opponents that I play against notice that when I play against them, and I really feel like that's one of my calling cards, and I feel like that's why I really got picked for this.
You've been offensive line all through high school, but you have some goals on working back towards the center position, which is some potential that you have at App State. So what's your favorite position on the field when it comes to those 2 positions? How do you think you might work to make it to center, or why would you want to stay at the offensive line position?
I came in, and as a freshman, I started at center for the majority of the year, minus the last 2 games in the playoffs, where I moved to guard. But as my sophomore season moved around, I moved out to tackle, got a little bigger, got a little stronger, and was able to play out there on the island, as we call it, on the offensive line. But I really have enjoyed being an offensive lineman. It's obviously, like I said earlier, you don't get a lot of praise being an offensive lineman, but it's fun. You're always involved. You're always hitting somebody, and I wouldn't want it any other way now that I've got accustomed to this. But But as you say about App State, you know, they're recruiting me at the center position. At the Division I level, I'm a little undersized for the outside positions. I still think I can play, and I think that they would believe that as well on the outside of the offensive line. But, you know, I really don't mind moving back to the center position. You get a lot of responsibility there. You're kind of the quarterback on the offensive line. You're you get to make the blitz calls. You get to do all that kind of stuff. And really, when it comes down to it, I want to play. And the center position at App is going to be my quickest way to the field. And I'm excited for the competition when I get there next fall. I'm excited to compete for that spot, and, you know, hopefully to be playing, starting at Sanford Stadium as we play Georgia next year.
Walk me through when you go onto that field, you look the defensive lineman in the eye, you know what he wants to do, and you know that you have to protect that quarterback. So what goes through your mind? What is the process when you get down, get set, and as soon as that ball gets hiked, you go up and you try to protect as much as you can?
Your job is very job-oriented. You have a job to do, and you know, you don't really get to go away from the script. If you don't do your job, then something's going to go wrong. And so when I first get to play from the huddle, it's first of all in your head, what's the job? And then once you accomplish the job, then you can go and you can kind of do some other things, which is really fun to do. So first and foremost, when I get in my stance, I'm thinking about doing that one job, and that's protecting, whether that's going and getting the linebacker for a run block. It doesn't matter. My first goal is to get the job done. And then once I get that job done, once that initial guy, once he's on his butt, then I can go run and get somebody else on their butt too. But when I look at a defense lineman in the eyes, most of the time I see fear in his eyes. There's not really ever fear in my eyes. But I really enjoy getting the job done, and you know, you don't get a lot of praise as an offensive lineman, and so that's why you get to have fun by doing your job, and your job is to get people on their butt. And so that's my first goal.
You're entering the playoffs now. It's your senior year, and your time at Greer is coming to a close. So when you leave, when you walk that stage, and especially when the football season's over, which hopefully for you will be a state championship, what do you want to be remembered as when you leave Greer? And what's the message you want to leave your teammates to carry on in the future generations to keep the success coming for the Yellow Jacket Nation?
You know, as I leave, I'd like to be remembered for my teammates and the people that I play with and the people that have watched me play, is how hard I work. The style of play that I have, which I think is unique in today's game as an offensive lineman, that really whistle-to-whistle style play. I'd really like to be remembered for my leadership. I hope I've set a good example for the teammates as the way I work, the way I go carry myself, and the way I do life. But I mean, I definitely think that, you know, especially this year, we've got a lot of young talent on our team. A lot of people who are in the newspapers, who are being said over the loudspeaker. They're younger guys, and they're going to be doing it for a long time. And I just hope that, you know, they've picked up something from the way that I've went about working that will continue that work ethic for them, and really carry over so that the Yellow Jacket fans will have something to watch for years to come. And I truly believe that there's many state championships to be won, whether it's the kids who are already on the sideline now and hopefully us this season. But I definitely think as you see kids running around getting hyped up pregame who are rec ball kids, they want to be Greer High Yellow Jackets, and you know, that passion right there, which I had when I was a kid, you know, always wanting to be on Dooley Field, always wanting to come out of the smoke. That's what keeps wins coming to the Greer program. It's that passion, it's that drive to be a Yellow Jacket, and you know, that's what makes this place special as well.
Well, Noah, I just have one more question, because this is something I think that could benefit both of us. Have you ever had a Division I college athlete challenge you to an offensive line challenge out on the field?
No, I have not.
Well, how would you like to have a cross-country runner go up against you on the field, see if I can get by you, and let's see how strong you really are?
No problem, let's do it.
All right, let's go. All right, I'll give you a chance to get set. All right, so we'll stop right here. So show our viewers exactly what you're trying to do.
All right, so pretty much what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep you on the outside of me. Quarterback's behind me over here to my left. My hands are still inside. They're still in your breastplates. But right now, there's not much you can do because I'm locked onto you. You're full extension away from me, and the quarterback's back there. So you pretty much lost.
So how do you deal with someone who tries to spin around real quick like this?
You can't chase them, because if you chase them, you get off balance. You got to keep your head back, your weight back, and pretty much you work hand replacement. So as you were to spin around, I'm going to keep my hands on you, never going to let go. And then as soon as I get that chest back, then I'm going to replace my hands on your chest, and then we'll be right back where you started.
All right, well, it's even a D1 athlete, although I'm only cross country, cannot make it past this, guys. So something tells me the Greer Yellow Jackets are going to be well protected, and they're going to make a big impact in the playoffs to come. Noah, I want to thank you for joining us today here at Dooley Field. And remember, go log on to GreerToday.com and our YouTube channel, as well as Facebook and Instagram, for all the latest updates with Greer football. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.